Hi all, and welcome to this first lesson on endgames. Now some of you have asked me to create lessons on endgames, and understandably so, but let me answer your request with a counter question first. To whom it applies, what do you find so difficult or mysterious about endgames? Have you ever tried to verbalize that? Please leave your comments at the bottom of this post, so I can address your issues in later lessons also. Now, of course, endgames come with some characteristics. Normally, we define a chess position as an endgame when the queens have come off, but we also have queenless middle games, and, of course, queen endgames. Anyway, for now, let's define endgames as positions without queens, and not a lot of other pieces and or pawns left. Coming back to the issue of mysteriousness, I strongly believe that the thinking methods I teach you here at Better Your Chess also apply to endgames. I suppose that is good news, since then you don't have to learn something new. We can just use our old and trusted toolbox with the orientation and the other approaches and their more detailed steps. Endgames can have tactics in them, or be of a more strategic nature. So here too, tactical motifs, calculation, imbalances and planning play a normal role. In the lesson series on how to play the endgame, I want to avoid being a theoretical manual, at least for the foreseeable future. For that, I advise you to just buy a book or DVD with an explanation of theoretical endgames and their sometimes dry rules on when something is winning or just not. No, rather, I want to try a more practical approach and teach you principles of endgame play, if they are any different at all from the normal principles. So, nota bene, I'm not saying that theoretical knowledge of the endgames is not important, because it is. But I don't think I would be adding anything new to already existing materials. During the lessons, I will refer to the theoretical issues if and when necessary, but it will not be my main focus. I will stress the fact, though, that it can really pay off to know all these dry positions and rules, because if you are able to quickly evaluate a position as winning or drawing without having to calculate them through to the end, which is normally impossible, then you can much more quickly stop calculating lines and make your decisions. How many times in books didn't you read something like la-di-da-di-da-di-da, and after the exchange of pieces, the pawn endgame is winning? And then you go, huh? The pawn endgame is winning? Why? I don't understand. And you go figure out why it is a win. But if you know a certain rule or position because you have studied it before, such a remark may make sense to you. I suddenly remember now my analysis in the PGN file of Master the Mindset lecture number 4, where I make such a remark at the end of the game. So I suggest you check that out later. Okay, well, having said all that, I immediately want to introduce theoretical knowledge of the different endgames as one of the principles of endgame play. Since positions are normally low in material, it is exactly this part of the game that is the most easy to theorize. Just think of the table bases, for instance, that international chess grandmaster John Nunn and others developed. So, work on your knowledge, but use a book also. Okay, now let me tell you something about mindset. Very often, an endgame arises when the smoke of the middle game has cleared. Unless you clearly steered for the endgame or saw it coming, it is normally of the utmost importance to show flexibility in your thinking and adjustment to the new situation. Unfortunately, the endgame quite often has to be played in or around time controls, so that can be a nasty factor. But apart from that, you really should take some time to figure out the new situation.